I got it. Okay.
Did somebody send me the calendar, Denise Glover?
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, Ms. Champion, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I did not receive a calendar. I think I've been deleted from that listserv.
No, ma'am. I think the clerk's office is still working on the calendar. I'm about to go over there and ask Mr. Jordan what's the status of it right now.
Okay, I thought that was odd indeed.
No, I haven't
Okay,
received it yet.
okay, long as it's not just me. We'll be on hold.
And Your Honor, may I make a request while we're on hold waiting for the calendar?
I'm sure, I hope we can accommodate it. Go ahead, Ms. Falk.
I hope so as well. So the top part of the calendar will be handled today by Mr. Pilon. And I have to step away. I've been called away by another issue that needs to be addressed.
Please, hold on. Please mute Ursula's iPhone. Please mute. Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Falk. Continue.
So I've been called away by another issue that needs to be addressed. And Miss Hudak will be covering my portion of the calendar, but I have the bottom half of the calendar. So if you could address that last and handle the top part of the calendar. Mr. Pilon goes.
Okay, for everyone who is, please mute all parties, please. That will only make it take longer. Thank you. That's fine, Ms. Falk. I know we don't have a calendar yet. Do you happen to know what positions you have? You don't know.
Oh, I don't, because I don't have the calendar. I will say that Mr. Pilon can help, guide as far as which cases are his. Mr. Anthony Woods, I did send an email out to the clerk's office and to the PD's office that has been accepted by the DA's office as a felony. Aggravated stalking. So that is going to be on the calendar today. We would ask that Your Honor address the case solely for the purpose of letting the defendant know his charges and what he has been charged with, and letting him know that the case is being transferred. I have sent that order over in the DA's office for them to handle tomorrow morning at felony first appearance for the purposes of bond.
Okay. And any parties who may be here for Mr. Wood's case that was just announced, his case will be addressed tomorrow morning and not today. All right, we will be on hold until we get a calendar. Is courtroom 2 on the line? Nope.
Judge, the calendar was just sent out.
Yes, if people want to look, it just arrived.
Okay.
Whew.
Is courtroom 2 on the line?
I don't have them signed in yet.
Okay, that's not good either.
I can give them a call out at the jail.
Please,
status.
please do. Please, Ms. Champion. This is
I'm
not
with you to yes. It's gonna be one of those days.
This has not been my day already.
Oh gosh, yours, mine.
What is my reset date, Ms. Bridgewater?
You know what? Man, I'm gonna tell you in just a second. It's just been so crazy here today. I hadn't even looked it up, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold on.
And have all defense attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Yes, Your Honor, I have done.
The reset date for today's SAP calendar is September the 26th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And are we inspecting any interpreter cases today?
No, not from me, Your Honor.
Okay, that's good news. All right.
Your Honor, I am working on a waiver of appearance for 3 clients, Meadows and Seals, Seals, and
Okay.
Schott.
What's the last name? I'm sorry, Miss Kim.
3 of them. First one is Meadows.
Yeah, I got Meadows, Seals, and what was the last name that you said?
SHONTS as a Sam.
Okay. Well, we could do those cases, I guess, while we await courtroom.
Your Honor,
Yes.
hey, I just spoke with the jail. They're logging on to the correct Zoom link right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yet, Your Honor, all those are actually MH issues, so I need a breakout room for them.
Well, do you need to tell me anything other than MH?
Nope.
Okay, well then I've got those.
Okay,
Just
Perfect.
we won't make any reference to the
sure.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Your Honor, one more thing I want to put on the record, Mr. DeWeet Negus. I may be butchering this poor man's name. He is, and let me see what position he is on the calendar. He is position. It looks like 12 on the calendar. We would ask that that be held till the end of the calendar and that the YouTube be turned off for that hearing
Okay.
due to the
Understood.
charges.
Understood. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams. Today is September the 11th of 2023. I ask everyone today consider taking some time for reflection in light of what today is. All right, all defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of this case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding. This particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means that any members of the public can log on and watch this. When I ask if you understand your rights, that is what I am referring to. And all defense attorneys have had the opportunity to interview their clients. Those who receive a signature bond today will be reset for the notice. Those who receive a surety or cash bond will be reset to the state all-purpose calendar on September the 26th, whereby your bond may be revisited. All right, who do I have first at courtroom 2?
Good afternoon, Judge Williams. This is actually a private attorney case, position number 8, Ms. LeBlanc.
Okay, and I know courtroom 2 was not on the line when we were waiting for a moment. We're asking that all cases assigned to Ms. Falk be allowed to go first. Ms. Falk, is this one of your cases?
No, Your Honor, other way around, be allowed to go last.
I'll be allowed to go last. Okay, so we'll take this. And is this your case, just out of abundance of
It
caution?
is. I can handle this right now while we're waiting, and then I'm
We'll
going
do
to go off and turn it over to Ms. Hudak.
Okay.
Okay,
Hey,
so we'll still stick with this case. This is fine.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Which one is Mrs. Falk's case? Which numbers are those positions?
And how about I do this case right now and I will tell you the positions because I just got the calendar. So I need a chance to look at the calendar and match them up with what I've got.
Okay, will do.
Thank
All
you.
right. And I'm trying to, I know the calendar just came out. I don't think I have. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, this is position 12?
This is position 8, private attorney.
Okay, Ms. LeBlanc, your case is 23 CR 0054442E. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Who do I have from pretrial today?
Miss Hardy, I'm here.
Okay, Ms. Hardy, please proceed with the history.
And this is position number 8.
Yes, Ms. LeBlanc.
This defendant doesn't have any criminal history to report.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on, let's see. This incident happened September 9th, 2023 at 3253 Chipping Wood Court. Patrick LeBlanc stated he was attacked by his wife, the defendant, during a verbal argument. The defendant punched him several times in the face, and while he was on the floor, the defendant kicked him several times. Mr. LeBlanc suffered a bloody nose and lip and bruising to his lower back, which was noted by the officers in the warrant. The defendant stated that Mr. LeBlanc tried to physically and sexually assault her, and she did admit to punching and kicking Mr. LeBlanc. When officers looked at the defendant, they didn't see any visible sign of injury that would indicate she was harmed or physically touched or grabbed in any way that would indicate bruising, scratching, anything like that. We did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. LeBlanc. He stated that they are married, they live together at that address, they share 2 adult children. He stated the incident happened when he told the defendant that he wanted a divorce and that he although he does not wish to, he is not in fear of her, he is stating he will leave the residence and has already packed his belongings, and stated that the defendant can return back to the location. I believe Mr. LeBlanc is here on the Zoom. We are recommending a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services, family violence intervention program. No further contact with Patrick LeBlanc. I understand his wishes. However, the state does have some concerns regarding the violent nature of this offense, as well as the fact that the defendant did attempt to have him arrested as well. And the fact that he is moving out of the house, we feel indicates greater concern than he may be expressing to the victim advocate. We also would like to recommend no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as part of our recommendation. That's all for the state.
All right, is Mr. LeBlanc present and wishes to make a statement?
And Your Honor, if I may, Jabrina Johnson, I am entering this matter for Ms. LeBlanc. So, and the court believes it's appropriate, I'd like to be heard as well.
Of course, but I am sounding for Mr. LeBlanc first. Is he present? Does he want to make a statement? If not, we'll go to you, Ms. Johnson. Oh, there he is. Mr. LeBlanc, we need you to turn on your camera, raise your right hand if you wish to make a statement at this time.
Can you not see me?
We cannot see you, and we need to see you.
Okay.
All right. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. I'm not sentencing Ms. LeBlanc today, so what I'm most concerned with is whether you wish to have contact with her and whether you have any concerns for your safety. In light of that, what would you like to tell me at this time?
I don't have any concerns for my safety, and I'd like to have contact with her.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to give your client a signature bond through pretrial and require her to take a one-day anger awareness course. And additionally, it's my recommendation in light of her limited criminal history that she can have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. Do you have any objections or anything additional you'd like to add to the record?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that will be my ruling. $4,000 SOB through pretrial, no further violent contact. She's going to take a one-day anger awareness course and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Ms. Johnson, does that conclude your business today?
It does, Your Honor. May I please be excused?
Yes, you may. Take care. Have a great afternoon.
Same to you.
All right, who do we have next? Best of luck to you, Ms. LeBlanc.
And Your Honor, as to courtroom two's question, I can let the courtroom know which cases are mine.
Please proceed.
That's going to be position 16, position 18, position 19, position 11. We will need a breakout on position 11. Additionally, it's going to be position 2.
Okay. Ms. Falk, for the breakout that you're requesting before you go, is there anything other than MH that I need to know?
No, Your Honor, but the defendant's mother may wish to speak to the court in the breakout.
Okay, is she also the victim?
No, she is not.
Okay, you know how I typically.
I understand. I just wanted to let the court know.
I appreciate it. All right.
Oh, I just have 2 more, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Position number 12, which is the one that we requested be addressed last. And then Mr. Shantz, which is position Shantz, which is position 17.
All right. So, okay. And we're also requesting a breakout on 14. All right, Mr. Pavant. All right, Ms. Falk, we'll see you back here shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Mr. Palan, is there anything you need to tell me beside MH on position 14?
Only that I believe the victim will appear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's proceed. Who do I have next at courtroom 2?
So Judge, all of her cases will be done last. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, position number 7, Ms. Grimes.
All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Grimes. Your case number is 23 CR 005439Y. You're charged with battery family violence with the offense dated June the 1st. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Hardy, can I have the history, please?
This defendant has 2 arrest cycles in Georgia. The last arrest was September the 7th of this year for driving while license suspended or revoked out of Atlanta. That case number is 23-0000-9309. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. All right, please proceed, Mr. Palan, if this is your case, or is it Ms. Hudak?
It's mine, Your Honor.
right.
In this matter, officers responded to a battery. The victim told officers she was leaving the incident location when the defendant pulled her out of her vehicle to attack her. The defendant also posted a recording of the attack to her Instagram from the account The Biggest Three with a caption about fighting the victim. The defendant and the victim are former roommates. That's the basis of the family violence charge. Our office did attempt to contact the victim, but were unable to do so. For that, because of the limited history, Your Honor, the state is requesting a $3,000 signature on bond through pretrial. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Trakita Westfield, and a stay away from the incident address, which is 1677 Lakewood Avenue Southeast. Your Honor, that's a nightclub.
Okay. Is it Trakita Westfield? Was that the name? Is
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Westfield present and wishes to make a statement? All right. Is this who represents this defendant? Is it you, Ms. Abden?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Abden, I'm inclined to grant the state's recommendation and give her the signature bond in light of her limited criminal history with the conditions that she stay away and have no contact with the victim. Is there anything you would object to? Or
Yes,
do you?
Your Honor.
Okay.
This is a Riverside issue. She was arrested on the 7th at 9:07 a.m. and this is just her first time being brought to first appearance. I would ask that Your Honor grant her a signature bond through the jail.
Okay, let's check that.
Yeah,
Does anybody see how long she was booked in? Let's see.
On the booking sheet, it says the 7th at 9:07. That's what I'm showing.
Miss Bridgewater or Miss Champion, can we verify that as well?
What's the position number you're on? I'm sorry.
Number 7, Grimes.
Okay, I'll check right
Miss
now.
Abden says she was booked in on the 7th. Let's make sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I showed that she was arrested on the 7th. But at least my jailing screen says that this is her 3rd day of confinement, which would put her right on the edge. But I don't believe create a Riverside issue, which would be consistent with her being booked on the 9th.
Yes, I show book 9 on the 9th also, Your Honor.
Okay, so I don't believe we're at Riverside if she was booked in on the 9th, Miss Abden.
It is my understanding that she was booked in on the 7th. I've spoken to her. She's been in jail since Thursday. She also has
Was she in the 7th on that charge? That's the question. She would have been booked in on the 9th on this particular charge, is what I'm hearing. Correct, Mr. Palan?
That's what my jail screen shows, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I won't.
She's still getting a signature bond, but we don't think Riverside has attached. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, not a problem, but I would request that be through the jail, and I do have a bond argument as well, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, very briefly.
All right. My client is she has moved out of the address. She has not had any contact with this individual for over a year. It's my understanding that she saw her out. She has no issue with no further contact and not returning to the nightclub at HQ. As I stated earlier, she does suffer from epilepsy. She hasn't received her medication since Thursday night, and she's in danger of having a seizure while she remains in jail. The incident did occur on June 1st, which is 2 or 3 months ago now. And so I am requesting a signature bond through the jail.
All right. I will accept the state's recommendation. She will receive an SOB through pretrial. She's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that location. Additionally, she's to take the 1-day anger awareness course. She's to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
How much was that bond, Judge?
I'm sorry, 3,000 SOB.
Through the pretrial?
Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Pawan?
Yeah, I was just saying nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you. Best of luck to you, Ms. Grimes. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Position 14, Rodriguez.
Your Honor, that's my breakout request.
Okay. We'll go ahead and take that case and let me do this first. Ms. Rodriguez, your case is 23 CR 005450A. You're charged with battery of family violence. You understand your rights?
Yes, I understand my rights, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Can I add something? I'm just
No, I don't want you to say anything yet. Anything you say can be used against you, okay? So let your attorney speak for
The
you.
only thing is I can hear you, like I have issues hearing, like hearing issues.
Okay, can we turn on the closed captioning so she can read what I'm saying as well on the screen?
Okay.
All right, Ms. Hardy, can I have her history?
I already told what was it, the public defender?
No, don't say anything. Ms. Hardy, please proceed.
This defendant doesn't have any criminal history to report.
All right. If we could very briefly go into a breakout, so Mr. Poulan could tell me what he needs. And I believe Ms. Kim will need to join us, Ms. Hudak, Mr. Poulan.
Is there Sylvester Punts on the Zoom? Sylvester Punts.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, Mr. Punts, I'm gonna send you a invitation to join the Zoom, the breakout room with the judge in 1 second, okay? So please accept.
All right. In light of the information before me, this defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. I am going to require that she take the one-day anger awareness course and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Ms. Kim, is there anything additional you'd like to add to the record? I know that, did you object to the signature bond through pretrial?
Nope, I have no objection, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. That concludes your case at this time. If you have questions, please speak to your attorney. Who do we have next?
Your
Position
Honor,
6, Gray.
I'm sorry, Mr. Salon, go ahead.
I have a question. Right now, I'm not working.
No, Mr. Rodriguez,
So don't
please
make-
don't say anything.
No, please don't, hold 1 second. Mr. Palon, you wanted to add something? Please do.
yes, Your Honor. I just wanted to slip in a no further violent contact.
Yes, I believe that's what I said.
You did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I apologize.
That's fine.
No,
No, please stop talking. We don't want the state to use that against you. We let you out, okay? Best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
This is position 6, Gray.
Okay. Gray, your case, oh, sorry, hold 1 second. That's not right. All right, Ms. Gray, your case is 23 CR 005437 D. You're charged with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, can I have that history, please?
This is the first arrest for this defendant.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pawan, please proceed.
Your Honor, in this matter, officers responded to a domestic call. They met with the defendant and the victim, who both stated that there was an altercation over bills and trash. The defendant had no visible injuries, but the victim had visible bruising to her face, and the officer was able to observe where she spat up blood because of the altercation. The victim is the defendant's mother. They lived together, and the defendant's minor twin boys witnessed the altercation. So that's the basis for all the charges. Our office was able to contact the victim. It's my understanding that she will be on Zoom and would like to address Your Honor. She stated that this is not the first instance of violence, but it is the first time police have been called. She also stated that she had recently had surgery and feels that the defendant took advantage of that in assaulting her. And it was the victim's husband, so the defendant's father, is who had to break up the fight. I would like to sound for the victim. Her name is Miss Shiva Gray, and our state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on the first count, $1,000 on each subsequent count. No further contact with the victim, and a stay away from the incident location, and a one-day anger awareness course. I believe I see Ms. Gray on the screen.
All right, Ms. Gray, if you'd like to speak, please raise your right hand and unmute your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not sentencing the defendant today, so if you disagree with the facts as alleged by Mr. Palan, that's not of critical importance. What I'm most concerned with is whether you have fear for your safety and whether you wish to have contact with the defendant. In light of what I've just explained, what would you like to tell me, Ms. Gray?
Yes, Your Honor. As previously stated, this is not the first time Milana has assaulted me and caused bodily harm to me. I am in fear of my safety. I do not want her here. She has a gun. She's a licensed gun owner, and she has threatened me. Besides being physical and causing bodily harm, I do fear for my safety of myself, my son, my husband, and my grandchildren.
All right, I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. I understand it was difficult to be here today. All right, Ms. Abden, will you please proceed?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. My client's 22 years old. She graduated from high school. She was on the honor roll. She's currently enrolled at Ultimate Medical Academy. She's studying nursing and wants to be an administrative nursing assistant. She also works as a CNA care partner where she's been working for the past year. She's also a mother to 2 twin boys who are 1.5 years old. She's a hardworking student and mother, and I would ask Your Honor to take her familial and financial obligations into consideration when setting her bond today. She was also recommended for unsecured judicial release. This is her first arrest. And she tells me that she would be okay with no further contact. She does have another place to stay. She's provided me with an address and a name for her aunt. And so I would ask Your Honor for a signature bond for Ms. Gray.
And I believe the court is aware, but an unsecured judicial release cannot be given for a family violence offense.
All right. Defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond. It'll be $1,000 on the battery, family violence, and $500 on each count of cruelty. She's to have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim, and she must stay away from that incident location. She is additionally to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Any weapons she has, she must surrender to the Fulton County Sheriff's Department as a condition of this bond. Is there anything further from either the state or the defense?
No,
No,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to all parties. Take care. All right. Who do we have next?
Judge, what was the total bond?
2,000.
Thank you. It's gonna be position 1, Boyd.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll preview for you if we could do position 13 immediately after, same circumstance. They're
Okay.
cross
They're
defendants.
defendants. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that, Mr. Falon. That's helpful. All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Boyd. Your case number is 23 CR 005432H. You're charged with battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Hardy, can I have the history, please?
This defendant has 4 arrest cycles out of Pennsylvania. Last arrest was December the 6th, 2019. Violation of Controlled Substance Act out of Hanover, PA. Nothing further to report.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Falon?
Your Honor, in this matter, officers were dispatched to a domestic call. They met with victim Kason Phillips first. Mr. Phillips stated that he and the defendant, I'm sorry, I'll get through this, Your Honor.
We all
Kason
will. We
Phillips-
all will. Okay.
Kason Phillips stated that Miss Boyd began hitting him with an open hand and used a small pink stun gun on him. He then took the stun gun and used it against her, and then they both continued to strike each other. The defendant before you states that defendant Phillips struck first, but essentially gave the same story. The defendant before you suffered a busted lip, a bite mark on her face, and bruising and abrasions. Mr. Phillips suffered abrasions and scratches to his face and a bite mark on his arm. The basis for the family violence is that they live together. State's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and specifically honor that they would surrender that stun gun.
All right. Thank you. Is this your case, Ms. Abden?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed.
Thank you. My client's 24 years old. She's originally from New York. She lived in Philly for some time, and now she's been living in Georgia since April of 2023. She moved here to attend MDT institution in Duluth, Georgia. She's studying to become a dental hygienist. She's studying dentistry. She would be in school right now, Your Honor, and I would ask Your Honor to consider her education and her lack of financial resources when setting bond, as she's currently in school. It's my understanding that Mr. Phillips is not afraid of my client and that the two of them want to return home and work this out. I am requesting no further violent contact and to allow my client to return home. She doesn't have anywhere else to go or financial resources to afford a place to temporarily reside. She tells me that she'll have to return to living with her aunt in Philly and drop out of school, which will greatly impede her education and future earnings. So I am requesting that Your Honor take that into consideration as well. It does appear that this was a misunderstanding. I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond. It is my understanding this is a battery family violence, but I do believe that it is within your discretion, despite what ASG Palan has been saying. Thank you.
Question, if when did this take place? Whose name is on the lease that they share? Is it George? Ms. McLeod, do you have information regarding whose home it is?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My understanding is that it is my client's name that is on the lease, but he did indicate to me that he would want them to continue to live together.
And this occurred yesterday, Your Honor.
Okay.
State's primary concern, Your Honor, is lack of ties. I think both defendants moved here recently.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would say that she's currently enrolled in school. She has very much substantial ties to Georgia. She's not planning on going anywhere.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. She's to take the one-day anger awareness course. She is to have no further violent contact with the cross defendant, and she's to surrender all weapons and have no alcohol or drugs without a prescription. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, can we do position 13 now?
Position 13, Phillips.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Phillips, your case 23 CR 005436J. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can I have the history, please? I'm aware of the facts, however.
This defendant has arrest cycles out of Florida and New York. Felony conviction in 2000 for possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis. 2002 sale of controlled substance. 2004 sale of controlled substance. 2014 possession of a forged instrument. 2019 larceny. The last arrest was July the 10th, 2018 for grand larceny out of Colony Town, New York, and 2 FTAs. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you. I'm aware of the facts. So, Mr. Kwan, if you'd like to give me your recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor, it's going to be largely the same. $3,000 surety bond, no further contact, one-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I believe because of the size and color that the stun gun belongs to Miss Boyd, but I did put the same condition that the stun gun be surrendered.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 43 years old. As I stated earlier, he tells me that this was a misunderstanding between himself and his girlfriend, and that he would like to have no further violent contact with her. Also, Your Honor, my client does not have any history of violence whatsoever. And the fact that it was a dual arrest, I would ask the court to give him the same as was given to the co-defendant, Your Honor. $3,000 signature bond. He came down here for his job, Your Honor. He tells me he's been employed for several years now as a sous chef with this restaurant company, and they were the ones who transferred him to Atlanta to work in one of their restaurants here in Atlanta, and that is why he moved from New York to Atlanta. It was for work, Your Honor, and he still is employed. Nothing further.
All right, defendant will receive a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. He'll take the one-day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with the victim. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 9, Lily.
All right, thank you. Oh. I'm sorry about this. All right, good afternoon, Mr. Lilly. Your case is 23 CR 005440C. You're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. You understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Hardy, can I have his please?
This defendant has arrest cycles in Georgia and Alabama, felony conviction in 2005 for possession of marijuana with intent, where they received first offender treatment. No seal date was listed. The last arrest was January the 7th, 2022, out of Henry County, Alabama for possession of dangerous drugs, 3 probation violations and 1 FTA. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you. Mr. Palan?
Yes, Your Honor. In this matter, officers were dispatched to a fight call. They met with the defendant, who stated that he locked the victim out for being gone too long. The victim lives at the residence and shares a child with the defendant. The victim was kicking the door to gain entry, and eventually the defendant grabbed a belt and opened the door and began to beat the victim with it. The child was awake and crying during the incident, and dispatch informed the officer that the child's crying could be heard in the 911 call. So that's the basis for the state's contention of the cruelty third. Our office was able to contact the victim, and she stated that she would like to have, she's not in fear and would like to have contact, but the state is concerned given the nature of the charges and the defendant's probation violation convictions and FTA arrests. So the state is requesting a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Pacina Whitney, and a stay away from the incident location, which is 1692 Shirley Street Southwest.
All right, is Miss Whitney present and wishes to make a statement?
I'm here.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I would just like to say that Jason is an awesome father to our son, and I do want to have contact with him, and we do live together. So I'm hoping that this weekend was an eye opener for the both of us, and that we can move forward.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Abden, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client's 38 years old. He has two children. One of them does reside in the home, which he shares with Miss Whitney. That is Josiah. He's 11 months old. He also has another child, which is 17 years old. He works at a warehouse as a production lead. He firmly denies the allegations. Despite his criminal history, none of the charges were violent, and these are merely allegations at this time. As you've heard from the complaining witness, he is a great father, and she wishes to have no further violent contact. So I would ask Your Honor to take that into consideration and please allow my client to return home and care for his son, and for these two to work this out, and also a signature bond.
I would point out, Your Honor, there was a 21 simple assault charge, which I would contend is violent.
All right, defendant will receive a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 for each count. He's to have no further contact with the alleged victim at this time. They can arrange for transport of their child by coordinating with a third party, and he's to stay away from that incident location. Again, bond can be revisited at the SAP calendar. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond. Is there anything further from either the state or the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I would request a one-time law enforcement officer escort in case he needs to get anything from the home.
So granted, he can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 20, Woods.
Oh, I saw Miss, is it possible for us to do 17 and 19 as Miss Kim requested? And I believe Mr. Wood, oh, I can do Mr. Woods very quickly. I'm sorry. Because Mr. Woods' case has been reset. He's going to be at felony first appearance in the morning. Was that the correct announcement from ASG Falk, Mr. Pavan and Miss Hudak?
You know, I'm unaware, Your Honor.
Okay, I believe so.
Similarly unaware. I don't have notes on that.
That was the email that I received that his case was actually upgraded to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, Mr. Woods, is this Mr. Woods?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Woods, your charges have been upgraded to a felony, so you'll be heard tomorrow morning at felony first appearance, okay?
Why is that, ma'am?
I'll explain it.
You'll speak to your attorney, okay? She'll give you a call. Thank you.
What was the request, Judge? What position?
Can we do either 17? Is the representative from PAD still here, Miss Kim?
Yes, Miss Harris Monteria. She's
Okay. So if we could do either 17 or 19.
Position 17 is going to be waived of appearance.
Okay, and what about 19?
And then position 19, Mr. Williams. Where's Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams? Oh, let me double check. I'm sorry, Judge.
That's okay.
When Officer Norris gets back in, I'll ask about Mr. Williams, position 19.
Okay, we can go wherever we can go then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 5, Evans.
All right, let's see. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 005449H. You're charged with battery and terroristic threats. Do you understand your rights?
I'm missing that.
You say yes?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Hardy, can I have the history, please?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. That last arrest was April the 27th, 2019 for DUI out of Fulton. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Palan.
Your Honor, in this matter, officers responded to a fight in progress call and met with the victim, who stated that he and the defendant got into an altercation at a previous location earlier, but did not call 911. Eventually, the victim returned home and the defendant began threatening the victim via text. The victim was able to show the officer a text from the defendant stating, quote, "I promise I'm going to make you die," end quote. The defendant then showed up at the victim's residence and pulled the victim out of the house and began attacking him. The victim suffered a swollen and bleeding eye, scratches on his face and forehead, lacerations to his shoulders, and cutting and bruising to both knees. The defendant sustained an injury to his nose. We were able to contact the victim in this case, and he stated that they were in a relationship but do not live together. This incident location is the victim's residence. He confirmed the events in the warrant and stated that he does not wish to have contact with the defendant, nor does he want the defendant to return back to his residence. For that reason, because of the defendant's limited history, we're requesting a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial with no further contact and a stay away from the incident location. I would like to sound for Mr. Johnson. That location, if you don't have it, Your Honor, is 576 Broadview Place Northeast.
All right, is Mr. Johnson present? Hearing none, Ms. Abden, I'm inclined to give him the signature bond in light of the limited history. Do you have any objections or anything you'd like to add?
In light of the limited history, the fact that they do not reside in the same home, my client would also be okay with a no further contact and stay away. I would ask Your Honor to grant him a less restrictive signature bond through the jail.
I'm sorry, I was trying to turn my mic on.
Are you Mr. Johnson?
That is the correct first name, Your Honor.
We have
Mr. Johnson, you'll need to turn on your camera for the.
We have to see you. Please raise your right hand if you'd like to make a statement. And unmute. Do you swear and affirm testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. If you disagree with the facts as alleged by Mr. Palan, that's not what I'm most concerned with. I'm most concerned with any concerns for your safety and your desires for contact. In light of that, what would you like to tell me?
I'm not concerned for my safety, and I would like nonviolent contact. Just like the incident said, this is an issue that arises from both parties. That, you know, we had some other issues that kind of escalated, but I do not feel fear for my safety at all.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $4,000 SOB through pretrial services. He's to take the one-day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with the alleged victim. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Honor, thank you.
All right, best of luck to you.
Is that 2,000 on each charge, Judge?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
I do have position 19, Judge, but that is one of Ms. Falk's case. Did you guys still want to proceed with that case?
Okay. Ms. Hudak said she could proceed, so we'll take 19.
Ms. Williams.
I'm sorry. Yes. All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 005446A. You're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Thank you. All right. Can I have the history, please, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 6 arrest cycles in Georgia. Last arrest was June 26, 2023, criminal trespass and disorderly conduct out of, looks like, DeKalb. That case is still open. There's also an open case in Clayton County for criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and theft of service. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Huda.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this incident did occur on September 10th, 2023, in the city of Atlanta. Officers received a call from security at Atlantic Station that a Black female, later identified as Ms. Williams, was attempting to leave the Angry Crab Shack without paying for a bill totaling $178.29. Ms. Williams had been criminally trespassed from Atlantic Station last year, October 4th, 2022. For a similar theft of services, she admitted to knowing she should not be on the property. Your Honor, the state is requesting a $2,000 signature bond. If she agrees to PAD services, we would ask that she be released to PAD at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 12th, tomorrow. We are asking for a stay away order from 1380 Atlantic Drive Northwest, which is Atlantic Station, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. If she does not agree to PAD services, then we would ask that the bond remain a signature bond, but through pretrial services.
Yeah. Ms. Kim, I'm inclined to grant that. Has she been accepted by PAD? Because if we write down PAD for sure, and then, okay.
Patty's here.
And she's been accepted?
Yes.
Okay, and your client agrees to go, Ms. Kim?
Yes.
All right. Defendant will receive a $2,000 signature bond through the jail to be released to the services of PAD. She's to stay away from that location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing further from defense, Your Honor.
All right. Best
Nothing
of luck.
further.
Best of luck to you, Ms. Williams.
What does that mean for you?
All right. Who do we have next?
Position 10, Martin.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Martin. Your case is 23 CR 005438C. You're charged with loitering and prowling. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Hardy.
This defendant has 13 arrest cycles in Georgia. The last arrest was August the 14th of this year, theft by shoplifting out of Clayton. That case appears to be still open. He has an open case in Fulton where he's being supervised by a pretrial. That case number is 23 CR 002575C. And there's also an open case in DeKalb for possession of Schedule I controlled substance. It appears that they're currently on probation in Clayton. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Palan.
Your Honor, in this matter, officers were called out 9 a.m. yesterday because the defendant was aggressively knocking on and kicking a door. The defendant also circled the property with a large rock in his hand. When officers arrived, the defendant attempted to conceal himself in the hallway, and bystanders pointed him out to officers and indicated that he was running away. Once he was apprehended, the defendant told officers, quote, "I was trying to find somebody that has been missing, but I don't know where she is or what her name is," end quote. Officers found the large rock that the defendant allegedly circled the property with at the victim's patio door. The defendant does not live at the incident location, and the victim does not know the defendant, whose name is Miss Ramirez, who our office was not able to contact, but she was informed of this hearing. The state's requesting a $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor, no further contact, and a stay away from the incident address. The state's particularly concerned about what it seems like an acceleration. 6 of those arrests are in the last 2 years. 3 of them are this year.
I'm sorry, that amount again, Mr. Palan?
3,000, Your Honor. And it currently has a 1,000 set on it.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
Ms. Abden.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client's 33 years old. He's the father to 2 children whom are both minors. It's my understanding that the bond is preset here at $1,000. My client is residentially insecure at the moment and is not working. His indigency is a concern. So I would ask Your Honor to please reduce this bond to a reasonable amount that he could afford. And the alternative, I understand there is a substantial criminal history here, but he does tell me that he understands the severity and will return to court. And he also alleged that the complaining witness, that she's a friend, and he stated that this is a misunderstanding. So I would ask Your Honor for a signature bond, and if Your Honor is not inclined, for a reasonable bond at $200.
All right. The bond will remain as set at the $1,000. He's to stay away from that incident location and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
That'll be a good bond, Judge.
Yes.
Thank you. Position 3, Dixon.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 005434C. You're charged with simple battery family violence. You understand your rights?
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Hardy.
This defendant has 34 arrest cycles in Georgia, felony conviction in 2001 for possession of marijuana, 2003 possession of marijuana, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 2005 possession of marijuana with intent and obstruction of law enforcement, 2008 aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 2018 aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and false imprisonment. The last arrest was October the 8th, 2020, 3 counts of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 2 open cases, 17 SC 155880, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, theft by taking. Sentence date, they received probation for that in 2018, and the other one is 20 SC 176822, 2 counts of aggravated assault with that same sentence date and probation, 5 probation violations and 3 FTAs. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Mr. Palan, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. And I would just highlight, because it's the crux of state's argument. I showed different numbers on at least one of the cases from pretrial. I showed 20 SC 176822. In that case, the defendant was convicted of aggravated assault for pointing a gun at the same victim in this case. I also showed 20 SC 176869. I believe that was the last one that pretrial brought up. That's a battery family violence conviction, again, against this same victim. In this matter, officers were dispatched to a domestic call. The victim stated that she and the defendant were arguing when the defendant knocked her phone out of her hand and punched her in the head and pulled her hair. The entire altercation happened in front of her minor children, and the defendant and the victim share 4 minor children. That's the basis of the family violence element. Your Honor, the victim confirmed the offense in the warrant, but stated she would not like to press charges. The state is very concerned about what seems to be a reoffense. Additionally, Your Honor, I think I failed to state in the most recent aggravated assault conviction, this defendant, who is still on probation for that charge, was ordered to have no further violent contact with this person. So the state's requesting a $4,000 surety charge, no further contact, and a stay away from the incident location.
And the victim's name
is Miss Nicole Smith, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sounding for Miss Smith. If you're present, like to make a statement.
I'm here.
All right. Would you like to make a statement? If so, please raise your right hand. Do you swear in the affirmative testimony you can say will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Again, if you disagree with what Mr. Palan said, I'm not as concerned with that as I am concerned with your desire for contact and concerns about your safety. What would you like to tell me?
I am not fearful of Mr. Dixon. Me and Mr. Dixon been living together for 2 years. He take care of all his kids. He has 8 kids, 4 of them in mine. I don't need no contact. He can come around. I need him there because he helps me. He takes care of the bills in the house. He makes more money than I do. So I am not fearful of him. We just got into an altercation. We were just arguing.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Abden, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client's 43 years old. He was born in Georgia, has lived here his whole life. As you've heard, he does have 8 children, 5 of which reside in the home with Miss Smith and my client, and 4 of which are Miss Smith's children. He works at CJ Logistics as a forklift operator, where he's been working for the past year. He does firmly deny these allegations. I would ask, in light of Miss Smith's testimony, for no further violent contact, and if not, that a third-party contact for the 4 children be set in place and a one-time law enforcement escort. It is also my understanding that he has somewhere else to stay, that I believe would rather stay. And without going too much into the facts, as your honors heard, they've had prior instances, and my client tells me that has to do with the complaining witness. And as I've stated, he firmly denies these allegations. And so I would ask your honor to set a reasonable bond, and that would be a signature bond if your honor is inclined, and if not, then a surety bond at $500.
All right, defendant will receive a $4,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that incident location. He can arrange transport of the children by coordinating with a third party, and he can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
No, your honor.
Judge, how many charges are we showing on this position?
I only see one. Is that incorrect, Mr. Palan?
That it is correct, Your Honor. It was originally charged with 3. There were 2
Okay.
cruelty charges that were dropped because those cannot be given for a simple battery charge.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Had 3 as well too, but okay.
All
Thank you.
right. Best
Yes,
of luck
ma'am.
to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 4, Di.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. There was a $4,000. I was listening to what you all were saying and didn't get the bond amount.
Yes, ma'am. 4,000.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 005435F. You're charged with theft by taking. Do you understand your rights?
No.
All right. Can I have the history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has 6 arrest cycles in Georgia, felony conviction in 2018 for theft by receiving, where they received first offender treatment. It was sealed in 2020. There's a 2019 felony conviction for theft by taking and a 2020 theft by shoplifting. The last arrest was June 30th, 2022 for driving while license suspended out of Spalding County. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Mr. Palan?
Your Honor, this is pretty sparse because I was going off of the warrant only. In this matter, the defendant took a 9-bot scooter, which I understand to be an electric scooter belonging to the victim. Because the state is concerned about the other theft by taking convictions, state's recommendation is a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, who I'd like to sound for, whose name is Tirapong Holtwe, and a stay away from Georgia Tech campus.
Okay, I'm sounding for that victim. Tirapong, I'm sorry, what was the
Holtwe,
Holtway?
best guess on your.
All right, hearing none, I'm inclined to grant that SOB. Ms. Abden, is there anything you object to or would like to add to the record?
I would just ask your honor to consider a signature bond through the jail. These are mere allegations at this time. He's 25 years old. He has a job at Marriott where he's been working for some time. And he is recommended for an unsecured judicial release. And so I would ask your honor to consider a signature bond through the jail.
All right, defendant will receive a $7,000 SOB through the jail. He is to stay away from Georgia Tech's campus and have no contact with the alleged victim. Excuse me. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Judge, quick announcement for the rest of the remaining of the cases, it will be for Ms. Falk. Is she available?
Well, Ms. Hudak is willing to step in, so we can do her.
Position number 2, Ms. Dean.
All right, Ms. Dean, good afternoon. Your case number is 23 CR 005433A. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights today? All right, I believe that's a yes. Ms. Hardy?
This is the first arrest for this defendant.
All right, Mr. Is it Miss? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Hudak. We just established that. I apologize, Miss Hudak. Please proceed.
No worries. Thank you, Your Honor. These allegations do stem from an incident that occurred on September 9th. East Point Police responded to 3328 Penny Lane, Apartment E in East Point, Georgia, regarding a domestic fight. The fight was between the defendant, Ms. Dominique Dean, and her mother, Ms. Miriam Tillman, who were involved in a physical altercation that stemmed from an argument over Ms. Dean's use of her mother's car. Earlier in the day, Ms. Dean stated that they were still arguing the following day, and she told officers that her mother swung at her with a closed fist and missed. In the midst of the argument, Ms. Dean admitted to hitting her mother, and then they both began to fight with each other. Ms. Tillman was initially charged, although the solicitor's office did NOD her case after it was determined that Ms. Dean was the primary aggressor. Ms. Tillman had bruises on her arm that were observed by officers. The two continued to go back and forth in front of the officers, and they were unable to resolve the issue. Your Honor, the state is asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a stay away from 3328 Penny Lane, Apartment E in East Point, and no further violent contact with Ms. Miriam Tillman. Your Honor, we would ask that you sound for the victim at this point as well.
All right, so you said no further violent contact, but the state is still requesting a stay away?
Yes, and it's our understanding that Ms. Dean possibly lives in Chicago and had another address to live at.
Okay. All right. Now, all right, well, I'll sound for the victim. I'm sorry, her name again?
Sure, Ms. Miriam, Myriam Tillman.
Is Ms. Tillman on the line?
Your Honor, I think Ms. Tillman is unlikely to be on the line. She was in jail earlier.
That's what I was wondering. So since you just NOD, did she get out already? Okay.
That's correct, Your Honor. I spoke with her and I would just like to share with the court that she strongly indicated to me that she does want her daughter to return home. She said it was just a misunderstanding between them. She says she and her daughter are very, very close and that she does want her daughter to come back home. I just thought I'd share that.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. McLeod? I'm inclined to give her the signature bond.
Nothing further, Your Honor, other than the mom's wishes in regard to contact.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000. Yeah.
I'm representing her.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought Ms. McLeod,
Okay.
Ms. McLeod represents the mother. I'm inclined to give the signature bond. Is there anything you'd like to add, Ms. Abden?
I would just ask, and I would reiterate exactly what Ms. McLeod just said. They sounds like it was misunderstanding. They both want no further violent contact. And I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond through the jail. This is her first arrest. She's 22 years old. She works at Express Professional Healthcare as a nursing assistant. She's been working there for the past 2 years. And so I would ask Your Honor to consider a signature bond through the jail.
Okay. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. She's to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, take the 1-day anger awareness, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Anything further?
Did you say no further violent contact or no further contact?
I said no further violent.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Take care, Ms. McLeod. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, Ms. Dean. Who do we have next?
Position 18, Smith.
All right.
Morning, Your Honor.
All right. Good afternoon. Your case is 23 CR 005447J. You're charged with battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. Ms. Hardy, can I have the history, please?
This defendant has 18 arrest cycles out of Tennessee, a 2005 felony conviction for aggravated assault, 2009 conviction for aggravated burglary. The last arrest was January 25th of 2012 for criminal trespass out of Nashville, Tennessee. 1 probation violation. Nothing further to report.
All right, thank you. Please proceed, Ms. Hudak.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state also has that there's an outstanding warrant for robbery as well in Tennessee, although I don't have the number for that. Nevertheless, this is an older incident. It stems from an allegation from February 25th of 2019. During that time, officers spoke to the victim in this case, Mr. Robert Arnold. Mr. Arnold stated that on February 24th, between the hours of 12 and 2 p.m., he was assaulted by his boyfriend at the time, and they were living together. They were arguing when he told Mr. Arnold told Mr. Smith that he no longer wanted to be in a relationship with him. Mr. Arnold said that Mr. Smith slapped him in the face, pushed him to the floor, causing him to hit the back of his head on the floor, and was repeatedly punched in his face. Mr. Smith was telling him he was going to die today. Mr. Arnold stated that Mr. Smith also took some clothing, put it over his face, and tried to smother him with it as he was lying on the floor. Mr. Arnold advised that he was not able to call the police because Mr. Smith damaged his phone. Mr. Arnold stated that this is not the first time that Mr. Smith had beat him. He stated that it was just the first time that he called the police. Your Honor, we did have the opportunity to talk to Mr. Arnold. They were in a relationship. They no longer live together at the location. The victim agrees with the incident and the warrant, even though, again, as stated, it was some time ago. He said the defendant had been violent with him throughout the relationship, and that he has not seen or spoken to Mr. Smith since the incident and does not wish to have any contact with him. We do believe that Mr. Arnold was going to be joining us on Zoom today, so we would ask that you sound for him at the appropriate time. We are asking for a $5,000 surety bond in this matter, no further contact with Mr. Robert Arnold, FVIP, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Mr. Arnold, if you'd like to make a statement, please turn on your camera and raise your right hand.
Hello. Hello.
Turn on your camera, raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Again, I'm not concerned with the facts about what happened. I'm concerned about your desire for contact and any fears for your safety. With that said, what would you like to tell me?
I do not want to ever see him again. I feel like he should be in jail for the rest of his life. He stole everything I had. He sold my house. He emptied out my account. And I just
has nothing to do with this case. This is
all right. You can continue, but limit your testimony. Go ahead, Mr. Arnold.
well, yeah, I don't
And
want
you can put your hand down. You can put your hand down.
Yeah, I don't want to have nothing to do with him ever again. I just want him to pay me my money back or give me what I'm owed.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming to court to make that statement. Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, my client, Mr. Smith, is 40 years old. He has been here in Georgia for more than 12 years, even though he does not have his employment because of his disability. He does have a ties to the community here in Georgia. We would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond. I don't think he completely does not, he says he doesn't even know Mr. Robert Arnold Smith at all. So he thought it was a false information or someone, fictitious person just kind of making up the story. We would like to deny all the allegation, no objection to stay away or no further contact. And we would like to request for signature on bond or maximum $1,000 good bond. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Smith, the best thing for you to do is speak to your attorney about this case. I don't want you to say anything that will be used against you, okay? All right, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. He is to have absolutely no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from any incident location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond, and he will be reset to state all purpose on the 26th. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Witness 16. All right.
That's not.
Don't say anything that may be used against you, okay?
Yes, it is.
Have a seat, have a seat. Position 16, Shakur
Shacker.
Fulford.
Fulford.
Okay, so your case is 23 CR 005445A. You're charged with driving with an expired tag, driving while your license was suspended, and obstruction. Do you understand your rights?
Yeah, ma'am.
All right, can I have the history, please, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has arrest cycles out of Georgia and Florida. The last arrest was July the 13th, 2023 for an FTA out of Carroll County, Georgia. There's an open case in Miami-Dade for possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis. And also in Fulton County, there's an open case for theft by receiving obstruction of law enforcement. That case number is 22 SC 183587. 2 FTAs. And it appears that they're on probation currently out of Carroll County. Sentence date was 7/17/23 with 12 months probation. Nothing further to report.
Thank you, Ms. Hudak.
Sure, and just to clarify, Ms. Volk had 3 FTAs, 2 in 2023 and 1 in 2022. That being said, this allegation does stem from an incident that occurred on September 9th, 2023. Officers with the Atlanta Police Department observed a silver Nissan Maxima with an expired temporary tag out of New Jersey. The officer conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle in question at the intersection of Fair and Rosser Street in Southwest Atlanta. The officer approached the car, asked the driver to see his license. The driver seemed to be making an excuses and attempted to stall on giving the officer his driver's license. He was also making phone calls and trying to not even acknowledge the officer's presence. So the officer asked him to step from the vehicle. He pulled away from the officer and fled on foot while the officer attempted to detain the individual. He tried to grab his arm but failed, and ultimately the defendant was located in a nearby backyard where he was detained without further incident. He was identified as the defendant in this case, and he was driving on a suspended license. He was formally charged with the offenses you previously mentioned. Because of his multiple FTAs and the open case mentioned in Fulton County, the state is requesting a $1,500 surety bond, $500 per count, no driving without a valid tag or license, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right. In light of the information before me, Ms. Kim, I'm inclined to give him a signature bond through the jail with the no driving conditions. Do you have any objection to that?
No objection, except that can he drive if he has a
permit from the DDS?
Yes.
Yes. Sir, the best thing for you to do is speak to your attorney about this, okay? I know you're raising your hand. I don't want you to say something that will be used against you.
I just want to make it clear that Miami is closed. That case is closed altogether.
Okay, they don't, no. All right, thank you.
Your
Defendant
Honor.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Mr. Shecker Fulford. I'm like a grandmother.
Okay, I'm letting him out of jail, okay?
Okay.
No
Okay.
statement. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Defendant will
Thank you.
receive a $1,500 signature bond through the jail, $500 each count. He is not to drive unless he has a valid license or permit as permitted by the Georgia DDS. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
nothing further from defense.
All right. All right. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position 12, Nagus.
Is that the last? This is a position that can we clear the courtroom, please? And turn off the live stream.
Give me 1 second, Judge, while I clear the courtroom.
Okay. While we're doing that, let's do the wave case. Meadows, I believe.
Yes.
Let's try that first. I understand we're gonna take a second. The case of Mr. Meadows 23 CR 005444D, in which he's charged with criminal trespass and simple battery. Can I have the history, Ms. Hardy? I believe that's position 11. Ms. Hardy? Okay, Ms. Hudak, do you have the history for position 11? Will you
Sure, 3 cycles. It looks like a 2014 obstruction of officers, a 2015 obstruction of officers. And then MHET and Viewpoint were recommended as part of probation in the Gwinnett cases.
Okay, thank you. Want to proceed with your recommendation? I know we spoke about that case briefly.
Yeah, and Your Honor, the victim in this case is his father, and damage was done to the home, where upon he broke a window screen, a lamp, and a bedroom door. I believe both his parents are on the same link on the call and everything. Your Honor, in this matter, we are asking for a $1,000 surety bond, $500 per count. We are going to be recommending him to misdemeanor mental health court for evaluation. I do note that Ms. Falk recommended a stay away from the 13312 Flamingo Road, Alpharetta address, which is his parents' home. And I believe his parents are going to want to address that. But the state would also ask for no further violent contact with Richard Meadows. And Your Honor, again, for the record, we did discuss this briefly in the breakout room. I know that Dad, who is the victim, knows some about his son's history. His mother, who is with his next to his father right now, is also on the line, has a better handle on all the diagnoses. But
we don't want on the record.
Right, correct.
Okay. Mr. Meadows, I'll allow you to make a brief statement. We please do not make any reference to any physical, mental, or other diagnoses, or any private mental health or physical health or any other medical information, because this is a live stream. What I'm most concerned with is whether you wish for your son to return home, and if you have any concerns for your safety. Can you please raise your right hand so I can place you under oath? Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
Nothing. Yes, I would like for him to come back home. I mean, he's got some problems that we're trying to work out with doctors and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't feel, I mean, he wasn't violent towards me. He never has been violent towards me or anything like that. So I feel fine. I don't fear for my safety or anything like that. He just kind of shoved me out of the way when we were both walking towards each other, and he just kind of pushed me out of the way, which no, it wasn't, he didn't physically come after me or anything like that.
Understood. Thank you. I appreciate you making that statement. Ms. Kim, I know that the state has requested certain things. Your position regarding that, my thought is to give this defendant a signature bond and allow him to return home. Does the defense have any objections?
Nope, no objection, Your Honor.
All right, will that, Ms. Hudak, will that interfere with the referral that you discussed earlier? Can he still be referred to that court without saying what it is?
He can.
Okay. Defendant will receive a $2,000. Is it 2 counts on this case? I think so.
It is.
Defendant will receive a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge if it wasn't recommended. He is to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything further?
I have a question, if I may.
The best thing to do is to speak to Ms. Kim, because anything you say is being recorded, okay? I don't want you to say the wrong thing. All right, please give Ms. Kim a call.
Sure.
I'll give us her number.
Ms. Kim, will you chat it to them? Thank you.
Sure, I'll do that.
Instead of $1,000 on each charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And what's the bond? The total bond is 2,000?
He's going to be able to sign his own way out of jail, okay?
Okay, I just need to know when he leaves so I can get him because he doesn't drive.
Let's please give Ms. Kim a call. We've got to keep moving, okay? Thank you. All right. Is the courtroom clear?
Yes, it is, Judge. It's clear. This is position 12.
Okay. I know there's other waves. I see some
Yes, I was
other.
going to announce the announcements afterwards, unless you want me to do it now.
Do it right here.
The remaining announcement are the wave cases, correct?
Correct, Judge.
There's no medical resets, correct? Okay. I see other victim, maybe perhaps other victims. And before we do this sensitive case, I'm trying to get those parties off of the line if possible. Is for the case of Seals, who's the alleged victim in that case?
Your Honor, I have two. One of them is Miss China Smith, who just turned on her video.
Okay.
Yes, I'm right here.
All right. So let's try. And then who was the other one?
The other victim is Mr. Zachary Phillips.
Okay. And that party is not here. Is somebody here for the Shantz case? Mr. Palon, what's the alleged, I'm sorry, Miss Kim.
His mother is, oh, no, Shantz. No.
Shantz. Nobody's here for, who's the alleged victim in the Shantz case?
Dexter Johnson.
Okay, so that party I don't believe is here. All right, we're gonna do the waived case very quickly. I apologize. Thank you for your patience at courtroom 2. I'm just trying to clear out as many people as possible before we do the other case that's sitting there. All right, we're gonna take up the case of Seals. That
Okay.
I know it's waived, but I'm trying to make sure they're off the Zoom.
You
That
already
case,
have all the waived announcements. Normally, I always say that at the end of the court.
you can tell me, but I already know the PDs told me.
Okay.
Okay, one moment to do this one case. We're gonna take the case of Aubrey Seals, 23 CR 0054448G, in which defendant was charged with possession, terroristic threats, and simple battery. Can I have that history, Ms. Hardy?
This defendant has one arrest cycle in Georgia. That last arrest, which was October the 3rd, 2016, for entering auto out of Fulton County. It was no prize.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Palon?
Your Honor, in this matter, officers responded to a fight in progress. They entered into an apartment where the victim, Ms. Smith, was holding back the defendant from attacking the victim, Mr. Phillips. Additionally, the defendant caused damage to the apartment walls to one of Ms. Smith's doors. The defendant stated he wanted a piece of victim, Mr. Phillips, and would put his hands on him to prevent putting hands on victim China Smith. The defendant also pushed Ms. Smith into the wall, causing injuries to her right arm and wrist. Your Honor, the victim stated that she is okay with having contact with the victim, but that he cannot return to her residence, given the fact that the victim stated that they were once in a relationship or no longer in a relationship. Further, the defendant does not reside at that residence. I don't see the benefit of contact. So the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. There's currently a $9,000 surety bond set, $3,000 per charge. State's recommendation would be $1,000 per. We'd also recommend 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Smith or Mr. Zachary Phillips, and a stay away from the incident location.
All right, Ms. Smith, if you'd like to make a statement, raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I would like contact with him. Do not wish that he comes back to my house because of the property damage. Yeah, I don't have anything, no bad will, no ill will towards him. Yeah, and that's it. I just feel like that maybe he needs anger management classes and stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it. I don't want to press charges or anything. I just wish that he just don't come over here to the property.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client is 29 years old, and he has no objection to stay away or no further contact. He does not want to have any more contact anyway. Your Honor, he is referred to MMHC. We would like to request for signature on bond for the condition of that. And also, he is not employed at this point, and yet he successfully completed his high school and he has a diploma from it, and he has a disability. We would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you. His mother is here to support him.
Okay, defendant will receive a $1,500 split bond. It's going to be a $500 surety count 1, $500 surety count 2, and $1,000 $500 SOB through the jail count 3. He is to have no contact with the alleged victim and stay away from that incident location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
I have one thing. I
the
would like
best
to
thing
say.
you've spoken, and I'd like you, if you have questions, please speak to his attorney. All right, or the victim
Yes.
witness advocate.
All right, that's fine. If she could contact me, her and contact, that would be awesome. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you. All right.
Excuse me. What case did you just did? position?
I did seals.
Seals.
15.
$1,500 split bond, you said?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
All right. I'm hoping that I've been able, all parties who were witnesses to cases we've taken up, it's my hope that the witnesses and parties who are not necessary, or if we've already handled your case, that you would please drop off this Zoom conference. Ms. Chan,